Two new infantry heroes have been revealed in the latest update. Julien, who looks exactly like Salt Bae, looks like a debuffer plus frontline tank in one package. Sakura, the next super weapon hero, looks like a top tier rally monster that can also become a scary field hero when transcended. In this video, I will cover their strengths and weaknesses, what roles they fit in, and their best hero pairings, so you can decide if they belong on your account. Hello everyone, this is BM and welcome back to the channel. Let's dive in. Let's start with Salt Bae. He is a real tank with excellent debuffs. Here's why I call him a tanker by himself. Just look at what his 3 non-rage skills provide. His second and third give big infantry HP and defense right out of the gate. Then his fourth provides reduced basic attack damage when he is leading pure infantry. It also gives a repeating shield every 10 seconds whenever he is on the field. Plus, he's not just tanky. His third brings disruptive ability with a slow that is triggered whenever he takes skill damage. His second also gives decent mobility that lets him reposition in the battlefield if needed. This combination is what separates him from heroes like Claude or Marco. Claude and Marco can be amazing buffer and debuffers, but not all of their passives are built around staying alive. Julien's kit definitely is. Just check out how he fares against these traditional tanks, Thunder and Bodala. Julien's non-rage kit checks the same boxes: HP and defense, damage mitigation, and sustain via shields, which is why I think he actually qualifies as a frontline. Sure, Thunder and Bodala's rage skills are much better at boosting tankiness than Julien's, but to be actually compared with these two already says a lot. Which brings us to the fun part, Julien's rage skill, Grilled Fist. On paper, it is one of the nastiest field debuffs that we have seen. It says, deals damage to the target, damage factor 15,000. When not rallying or garrisoned, it reduces attack, def, and HP of 3 nearby enemy squads by 20% for every second for 4 seconds. Repeated casts increase the effect by 10% up to 50% for 2 seconds. This looks really powerful. However, the wording is vague in some places. For the first vague part, repeated casts. Most likely, each second that the skill takes effect is counted as a separate cast. Thus, each time that the rage skill itself is activated, there will be 4 different casts, which only the last 3 considered as repeated. It would be unlikely for each rage skill release to be considered as separate casts, as it will be difficult for the game to calculate the ramping during on and off combat. For the second vague part, increasing the effect for 2 seconds. The game usually refreshes durations for stacking effects. Thus, I have scrapped an initial analysis where the additional effect only applies for 2 seconds, and then disappeared for the third tick. Most likely, what will happen is that an additional 10% is granted on the second tick, 20% on the third tick, and 30% on the fourth tick. However, in that interpretation, the 2 second loses relevance. So I guess we will just have to wait and see until we can test this. For the last vague part, increased effect cap up to 50%. Most likely the cap of 50% will be applied to the total stat reduction. Having it applied only on the increased effect, thus bringing the total stat reduction to 70%, sounds like wishful thinking. So, in my opinion, the skill goes like this. Once the scale reach is released, damage is dealt to the target on the first tick. Then, on the second tick, 20% stat reduction is applied up to 3 targets for 1 second. We are starting 1 tick after the initial damage is dealt, as this is how the game usually behaves for additional rage effects. On the 3rd to 5th ticks, stat reduction of 30, 40, and 50% respectively are applied for 1 second each. Just to be clear, We will not be able to confirm this exact behavior until the heroes are available on the end of December. Next, let's discuss the best partners for Salt Bay. Just a quick disclaimer on pairings, these options are close in power. Your best choice depends on who you have awakened, your armament sets, and whether the hero you don't pair still has other partners for your multi-squad setup. For the first one, Claude. Claude doubles down on the buff and debuff value, but he needs a real tank to stay alive, and Julien fills that role. Ideally, Claude leads if you have leader armaments, and because his kit benefits from faster rage cycling. Even though neither of them uses the skills tree, the support talent tree has surging rage, which grants a total of 180 rage once both heroes have caster skills. Combine that with Claude's lower rage requirement and the rage generation from the cooperation talent tree. Look at this, and also this from the leader. Then you have great rage generation. Once the first rotation starts, then the rage loop can snowball hard. Next, we have Bodala. With Bodala leading, you lean fully into survivability. Two tanks together makes this march extremely annoying to focus, and if enemies avoid targeting you, then they are forced to eat the full value of Bodala's rage damage, while keeping Julien's debuffs stay up much longer. You also get access to skills talent tree, which is still one of the most reliable ways to keep rage cycling fast. Next, we have Marco and Eri. Marco and Eri are still one of the best debuffers in the game, but they are not naturally tanky. Pairing them with Julien's tank kit helps them survive long enough to keep applying value debuffs to rage, HP, speed, and overall damage, even when the enemy decides to focus your march. Also, Marco and Eri have the skills talent tree. Alright, quick wrap up on Julien. On paper, he is one of the rare infantry heroes that brings real tankiness and real debuffs in one package. If his rage skill works the way that it seems to be written, the field debuff potential could be disgusting, especially with fast rage cycling. We will confirm the vague parts once he becomes available on the end of December. For the pairings, Claude is her rage cycling debuff engine, Bodala is the double tank, please don't focus me setup, and Marco is the premium debuffer that Julien helps keep alive. Now, I originally planned to cover Sakura in the same video, but I'm out of time and I still have work to finish. So, Sakura gets her own dedicated video this weekend with the Awakened versus Transcended breakdown and the full damage table. If this helped, drop a like, subscribe, and I will see you on the next Sakura video. Bye!